No, you know what? I gotta get off of this. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Black Man Unfiltered Network. Hey, we got a nice Monday for you. Um, it should be a lot of fun talking about this. Uh, well, hello, who's in the chat? I see Milani, Anton, Joshua. All right, you guys are early. That's good. Um, yeah, we're gonna have a nice little conversation tonight. And if we could have some ladies come up, you don't have to get on screen, of course. You could be a voice in the cloud. We got to talk about the fact that Kamala Harris most likely is going to do some kind of time as president of the United States. I was telling my sister, who's a retired police officer in New York City, that I don't believe that Biden is going to make it to the election day. Now, I didn't say he's going to pass away. I'm just going to say he's going to be so ineffective that they're going to have to do something to get him out of there. Now, the Democrats are in a quandary because if they put anybody in to replace him as a nominee other than Kamala Harris, that means she's out. And so the sister code is going to really come under attack for that because the black women are going to have to decide whether they're going to be more Democrat or more black because they're already on record saying if they have anybody to substitute for President Biden as opposed to Kamala Harris, they're going to leave in droves. They're going to sit this one out. Now, first of all, I don't believe them. I think the fact that all the quirks that black women get out of the Democrats, it's going to be hard for them to give that up for Kamala Harris, who is a chameleon at best. So we're going to explore in general. Who's that? Anyway, we're going to explore in general the good and the bad and the ugly of black female leadership. And we're going to discuss whether we think that the current climate and the current way black women think gives them the proper temperament to be president of the United States. Now, let me preface it this way. One of the things that was a constant weight on Obama's shoulders as a man, a half black man, right? He was forced to be a black man. He couldn't even lean into his white side. But one of the things he couldn't do is be mad. He couldn't show any anger as a man. We don't have the stigma of being angry black men without being violent. He wasn't going to be violent, but he had to be even keeled all the way through his presidency for 8 years, right? It was no easy feat, I'm sure. But I mean, with all the people, Democrats and Republicans snapping at him, snapping at his heels, throwing daggers at his wife, throwing daggers at him, he was cool as a cucumber. Very few people can do that. I have my doubts that a black woman could actually stand up under that scrutiny. I really do. But it's just really not a dig at black women. I mean, it's just a fact, right? We've seen sisters go off the handle for small things. I can't imagine the pressure of the presidency, but I don't want to discount them because what I'm thinking is, how do we're not going to get through, let's put it this way. Either Kamala Harris is going to have a short term before the end of this presidential cycle is over. She's going to do a stint in the White House. Or if Biden actually wins the election, there's absolutely no way in hell he's going to be able to do 4 years. We all know that. So whether she gets in because she's just the vice president or de facto, she's one diaper change away from being the president of the United States. That's what she is. So before we go any further, we're going to see. I mean, who's in the chat? All right. Hey, Eugene, how you doing? Once again, hello. Milani, hello. Joshua, how you doing? Simple answer, yeah. Simple answer, yeah. Some people think that it's a simple answer. I don't know what BBV stands for. I probably should, maybe. Yeah. Well, okay. Once again, so black men are willing to off each other. We're talking about black men in the presidency. We ain't just talking about in the hood, right? So, oh man, that is funny. Listen, Yeah, I hear you. But let's kind of put this in a perspective of where we're talking about, but man or girl, I don't know, lady, I don't know. Once again, I really don't know. So if I misgendered you, don't cancel me. Don't if I misgendered you, don't cancel me. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, listen. So I got a couple of things for you before I would just kind of let things heat up, let people come. First, one of the other titles I have is, are modern Black women ready or have the temperament to be president? Right? That's the question. You know, don't be scared of what? So listen, don't be scared away. So listen, the temperament. Let's define temperament for the purposes of our discussion today. You know what I'm saying? For the purposes of our discussion today. And it's in the dictionary, just like this. Temperament is defined as a person or animal's nature, especially as it permanently affects their behavior. And when they say affects with an A, it means to influence your behavior. Your temperament influences your behavior, right? And so, so when we think about how that applies to the Black woman, and really, I'm going to be talking about Black women today because that is the nature of this particular stream here. We're talking about Black women and their ability to run high office with all the pressures and all the things that go with it, especially the ego trip, right? So we operate in many ways based on our temperament. Those things kind of guide the way we react to certain stimuli, right? So there's two things about the modern Black women that sticks with you, whether you guys like it or not. The first one is the angry Black woman. Okay, we can say that's a stereotype. We can say it, but it sticks, right? It's hard to shake because there's no shortage of evidence that sisters at every single economic level can fly off the handle at a moment's notice. And they don't give a shit what they say and who they say it to. That's true. That's just a truism. And the other one is this one. Who's going to check me, boo? Who's going to check me, boo? That syndrome of who's going to make you stop? Who's going to say anything to you that's going to make any difference, right? That's a truism too, right? I mean, it's all over, and it has nothing to do with whether you're a low hyena or a hyena like Ebony K. Williams. It stretches all through classes, horizontally and across the classes, and vertically up and down. There's a certain thread that runs through, I think not a vast majority, but a good majority of women who are attached to the sister code, whether it's good for them or not. Right? That's why nobody comes out in groves talking about the debauchery of a sexy red, going to high schools and teaching young girls that their hair is no good or to be, 304s at a young age. Nobody stops them. No women come out and stop them in terms of growth. They're very silent, right? So, some of the stuff you guys have to take a big L for. Now, so when I put that in the backdrop of, are you ready to be president? Right? So I call it the good, the bad, and the ugly. And before I show the first clip, and hopefully we got it right, because I swapped out the first clip for a new one where a lady talks about how Black women behave. There's some good with the plethora of Black women who want to be in charge. They're going for high office, whether it's mayor, district attorney, lawyers, judges. There's just a swell of sisters who want to be in control of something. Much just like that, they want to be in control of households, which has turned out to be an absolute disaster. However, so let's talk about public office. There's a lot of good with the aspiration of women to want to aspire to higher heights. It'll be very difficult for somebody to find negativity in women getting the education and wanting to be mayors, wanting to be elected officials, want to sit on boards, want to be judges, and actually aspire to be a president. I will have nothing negative to say about that, right? Unfortunately, and this is probably part of the psychosis that people are under, that when you get power, power tends to corrupt. That's the one thing that is true. That's a truism. It does it for men, and somehow it hypnotizes women. And so that's the bad. It's when you get these positions, how do you behave? How does your nature, your chaotic nature, uh, uh, get put in check? If nobody can check you, if nobody can criticize you, if nobody can say anything to you to put you back on track, if nobody can check you, boo, if nobody can, not even your closest advisors, not even other sisters, I think it's a recipe for disaster. Here's another thing that I think that I have a major issue with the Black women who are getting office and becoming elected. Outside of a few Black women, you're all liberals. You're all liberals. And liberals govern based on feelings. We got to be fair to everybody. We got to try to push for policies that can guarantee equal outcomes for everybody, which is absolute fucking madness. Do you hear what I'm saying? There's no such thing as equality of outcomes, right? I mean, it's hard enough to give equality of opportunity if people ain't willing to go after it. Now, so there's three things that we all have. We all have, Black Americans too. We all do. We have three things that we can live by in the not the Constitution, but or the Declaration of Independence. We have the right to life, we have the right to liberty, and we have the right to the pursuit of happiness. And it's key that we have the right to pursue the happiness, but we're not guaranteed happiness. The happiness that you achieve is based on your merits, though what you're willing to put into it. And when we talk about DEI and all this other horse shit of liberalism, it tries to force that by saying, if one person has it, why can't everybody have it? That's not how the world works. It's not. And what I'm afraid of is that the liberalism that most of our Black women who get in office, they carry that, justice and fairness for all. Not justice for all, yes, but fairness for all, no. Life ain't fair. It's supposed to be a meritocracy. Now, so that's the bad part of it, because somebody mentioned a conservative woman. He mentioned Condoleezza Rice. She's older than I am, right? We need a whole plethora of young Black women who are conservatives, who don't believe in equality of outcomes, who believe in some lower order, who believe in some chaste chastity, who believe in shit that you got to control yourself and everything ain't free and everything shouldn't be given to you. I think that's a big negative for Black women in those high positions. It's scary. It really is. And I'm going to go through some of that for you and tell you why I think it's scary, because I'm not going to say just yet, but it is. So who else do we have in the chat? Okay, Eugene, how you doing? Listen, hey, Take Heat, how you doing? And you know what? And anybody, I'm not going to be real restrictive. Anybody wants to get in the cloud or wants to chime in, just do it. No big deal. Want to come up? I do have a clip I want to show, and I was going to wait for some more folks to come in so they could see it. But it's a short clip, and we could play it more than once. So I don't know if it's Black David in the back. Let me see. I got to look at my back chat. Hold on for a second. All right, I know I'm live. Okay, that's that. Boom. Yeah, yes. BMU is with the girl. Yes, that's the one. That's the number one clip. Thank you. I just was checking the back comments to make sure we're on track. Listen, so let me get to the ugly. And before I get to what I think is ugly about some of the women in power, and I don't think this is I think it's a current state. I don't think that this is a permanent state. I just think that we need some adjustments on how women wield power, right? And I think that with the temperament of many, 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 many black women, I can't, hemp got us all refusing to use the word some. It's either most or less, right? That's one gift he's given everybody. I believe that too many women don't know how to control the power. And I'm going to talk about how that manifests itself when you hold high office, right? So, yeah, some people have the right to be afraid of Trump in the light of the new Supreme Court ruling in terms of, of course, the immunity situation. I don't think people understand it fully. They think he just has unfettered rights to do what he has. But, right now, Biden is still president. So whatever right Trump has, Biden has right now, right? And so whoever wins the presidency, if it's a black woman, she's going to have that right too. This shit is not just for Trump. It's anybody who holds the office. I mean, when you start thinking, broadly, what's good for the goose will be good for the gander. You just got to win the election, right? So really, the immunity law strengthens some parts of the executive branch, but that's why we have 3 branches of government. So I think the fair is in the 2025 project, which is not a government sanctioned document, is just making people crazy. But I would like to get to the first clip to kind of emphasize when I get to the ugly part. All right. So BMU, whenever you get a chance, I mean, you might have to play the first clip more than once, but play it for me now before I get into the next segment.
Start this video by saying I am being sincere. I genuinely want to know. I am making this video so I can gain an understanding. So no one can question black women. No one can correct black women. No one can offer information and advice to black women. Nobody. And I know you're probably thinking, Ash, where are you going with this? This is not a question. I see so many women come onto this app, not all, but some, a lot, to be honest, and say they're having a problem with something. And you will have people offer advice and they will say, no, that's not it. People will make videos where they are blatantly wrong in what they did. And people will come and say, you're asking if you're right or wrong. We're here to tell you that you're wrong. No, I'm not. You will have people that will make a video.
Uh-oh. Did it freeze up?
Stan, who can say anything to black women? If black women can't critique and correct black women, black men cannot critique and correct black women, because you need to stay out of women's business. We know the counterparts can't say anything, which I understand. Who can? I'm just trying to figure this out, because no matter what content that I put out, it is always with the greatest of intent to help improve my community. Now, we may not always agree, and I respect that. But why is it that everything that I say is looked at as a negative? It's looked at as I'm being a pick-me. It's looked at like, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so when the black men come and say, hey, ladies, y'all are saying that y'all are having problem with black men, here's why. No, it's not. Who can correct us? I genuinely want to know. I genuinely want to hear what y'all got to say in the comment section.
All right. Listen, okay. The reason why I put that clip there, that goes with my temperament, my situation of the temperament of the common black woman. And you know what? That what she said cuts across class lines. It's not just the women that we was, the hood boogers who might be twerking in the, McDonald's and shit like that. It goes all the way up to your Ebony K. Williams, the millionaires. The ones who think they have it all going together. Nobody can tell them anything. right? And listen, Joshua, if you want to pop on, it's just fine. As long as you can stay, that's cool. One of the things I want to talk about with the ugly, right? And this, I have a list of current Black women who have been in the public eye. Okay. And I'm going to go through the list, and it's short because I'm not going to read this stuff verbatim, but I'm going to just tell you the ugly part of their administration and their administration of policy and their administration of justice. And the reason why I'm doing this is because these are the pool of women who could potentially become president or a Supreme Court judge, or those kind of people passing policies and laws that affect us all, the conservative and liberal alike, right? And these are Black women, right, who are at the pinnacle of
essential choice between.
Yeah, okay, yes, that's later on. Who are at the pinnacle of where they might be able to get to. Hey, Joshua, how you doing? What you say? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey, Mr. Payne. Sorry.
Yeah. What's going on, man? So what you got? What you got so far? What do you think so far? Because I want to get down a litany of things, but you can go ahead and say welcome aboard.
My first question would be, okay, so the young lady that was on chat,
right?
How does that correlate with presidency?
Because she's talking about Black women in the diaspora of the United States. And if it's a Black woman that becomes a president, she's going to be picked out of that pool of women who can't be checked.
Right. But she's also speaking to the concept of like being unchecked. A president's position has checks and balances to itself.
Yeah. You talk about policy checks. I'm talking about attitudinal checks.
Yeah.
Just wait, hold on. No, I'm going to let you say this. But go ahead and finish, and I'll tell you what I mean. Go ahead.
Well, I've got to ask, like I understand the concept of like attitude, right? Like Trump's a, okay.
There you go.
Yeah, just to be fair, right? Like, so I'm a conservative. I'm a staunch conservative, which always puts me in the Republican Party, right? But at the end of the day, right? Like Trump is like his words. He's an asshole. I don't think anybody contests that. But at the end of the day, why does the personality traits generally matter within politics? Don't we automatically assume from the start that politicians are basically a bunch of liars and panderers?
No. Let me put it to you this way. I think people who think they're operating on a higher plane will automatically default to saying politicians are all liars and stuff. But you're a rank and file person. The politician who's in charge sets the tone for the country. Whether their policies are good or bad, it makes a difference, but they set the tone for the country, right? I mean, they just do. That's what, if they don't do anything else, that's what they set the tone for. Do we feel comfortable with this person being the leader, making those decisions we'll never know about, right? And the person's a buffoon or asshole, we can only surmise that behind the scenes, they're a buffoon and an asshole. If the person's not even killed in front of the screen, we could assume that they're not even killed behind the scene. So those are the first things that kind of matter. That's why people hate Trump, because he seems unhinged in front of the camera. We can't imagine how he is behind it. So that from that standpoint, I think it matters the pool of female candidates that we have that will be president. I would be more comfortable with a conservative Black woman. I mean, I say Black woman, but a conservative woman, period. But we're talking about Black women here. So a conservative Black woman, because I believe that they have their chaos in more check than a liberal person who thinks everything goes based on trying to be fair to everybody.
I see, like, I want to agree with you.
You don't have to agree. Don't agree. Tell me what you think.
Well, so like I want to agree with you. I just don't understand the concept of selecting people based off of personality. It's like basically saying I'm going to hire people for a job position to do a thing based on, I don't know, how they walk and talk and interact with people. Even if it's just like programming in front of a computer. I don't care how you interact. I care how you do the job. Right.
Okay. So let me add something to what you just said, because we have to make a certain assumption. Let's make an assumption that the person who's unhinged and the person who's even killed are both qualified to actually do the job? Let's start there. That answers your question,
Well,
right?
so
So the discriminator is whether that person is likable and agreeable, not agreeable, but likable, and can set a policy and set a tone that most people can be comfortable with as a person who's qualified but is unhinged at all levels.
Oh, I see now. Okay, I don't know. In the concept, let's take domestic policy, throw it off the table. Just stick with foreign policy. The
Okay.
last thing you want is a likable person sitting at a negotiation
Yeah,
table.
okay, but you're doing eaches. You know what? I would disagree with you on that one. He doesn't have to be liked to be friendly with the person, but you have to just be able to get along, right? I mean, you don't have to, just because you don't have to go in and battle and fight somebody, that doesn't mean you're not a good negotiator.
Yeah, that's usually well. So
No, you're assuming some things, right? Matter of
well,
fact,
yeah,
I would submit to you that if I was a person that could get along with world leaders, even though we're diametrically opposed in certain policies, but I'm not a prick, I bet you I can get further than a person who wants to be hard and fast on a policy and is a prick.
That's usually so like within well at least within Department of State, right? Like this is why Condoleezza Rice was so effective.
Yes,
At
she's
least
a
within
conservative.
US, right, was because she was not like she was not like really a nice person at the negotiation table. It was kind of more like have you ever seen a bear protecting its cubs? She was
Nah,
absolutely
yeah.
brutal and everybody was mostly
But
afraid of her.
okay, but you're still proving my point because she's a conservative.
Yeah, but it
I
wasn't
think there's something harder about conservatives because they have to stick to principles based on their principles and not on how they feel.
Oh, well, to be fair, right? Like the president sits on top of her, and so like policy kind of gets dictated to you. I mean, I don't know how it spells out all the way down, like when it gets down to us.
They were all conservatives though. She was working for some liberal asshole. The guy was having people killed.
Well, yeah, like that kind of comes with the job.
Okay, you know what I'm saying? So, okay, come
Right?
on.
That's why I don't. That's why I guess I don't understand the idea of nice people within at least within foreign policy.
Well,
That
yeah,
doesn't make
no,
a lot of
I
sense.
hear you, but we're not talking. We're talking about overall. So foreign policy, you're taking a little sliver down a tangent. I don't particularly agree with what you're saying, but I don't disagree. I hear where you're coming from. But the point of what we're trying to make here is that even this election, right, with Biden and Trump, and we can get back to the black woman after this, a lot of people are going to vote because they don't like Trump. And they're so upset that they can't vote for Biden because they like him. I don't know why, right? So it's not just his policies they like. They just prefer him because they think he's a better man than Trump. I'm talking about character and everything else. Right. So, I mean, so people vote for a myriad of things. I would submit to you that most people vote for their candidates not based on policy. Most people vote based on how they feel about the guy or gal.
I kind of want to agree with you
You
on
don't
this.
have to kind of want to agree. That's just the way it is. Matter of fact, don't agree with me and tell me how you think people vote.
Well, because there's no way to actually know for sure, right?
But no, yes, there is, because people will tell you if you listen to them talk.
Well, like if you ask people about specific policies, right? Yeah, I would grant you that most people, I think, would not know.
That's
But we
right.
also got to remember, like you as a person, you're going about living your life, right?
Right.
And
Right.
actually go through and dig into a candidate's basically policies. Like it takes it takes a good amount of time.
Okay, so then you agree with me though. Then people have. Then what's the person's discriminator if they don't know their policy? Right? Everybody has a discriminator. Not talking about discrimination. We have discriminators between people, right? What's the number one discriminator? I like this guy over that guy. I like this lesser of evil over that evil. And forget about the fact that they're both evil.
I guess I think I might understand your point. I just don't. You're asking the average person to take huge sums of time out of their personal life to basically do like huge amounts of research individually. Like we're not talking about like groups of people. We're talking about individually doing this to make a vote. It don't.
We give you a huge amount of time. You know what? Come on, man, Joshua. Listen, man. This is the age of Google and shit. Hey, Google, what's some of Biden's policy? Hey, Google, what does Trump stand for? I mean, those things are not a lot of time. You don't have to have every detail. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on. You don't have to go through. Listen, if the average person can't take the time at the local, state, and federal level on finding out who they're voting for, whose fault is that?
Well, that would be a fair assessment, right? Like the government we get is the government we get because of us.
Absolutely.
Like if we want a better government, we have to have better people.
Or hold them to more accountability. Yeah. You know, that's what I'm saying. But listen, but I hear what you're saying. And, but you got to listen. If we go back to why I'm talking about and I'm focusing on Black women, it's because, a Black woman, well, she's only Black when it's convenient. Kamala Harris is really close to being president. I mean, she's really close. I mean, I don't think people really give enough respect to how close she is of holding the office.
Is she though? I mean, like,
yes, she is.
I'm of the view the only way she's going to become president is if Biden, I don't know, accidentally drops off and dies or something.
He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to pass away, right? All he has to do is listen. The guy is in cognitive decline. He's got a lot more pressure. And the pressure has been ramped up because all of his so-called buddies are trying to get him to step down. His wife, who cares more about being first lady than being his wife, is all jumping all over the place because she likes the bennies of being the first lady, which is absolutely disgraceful as to being his wife, because any wife who loves her husband in that condition would have told him, listen, honey, it's been a great freaking run. It's time for us to go on to the sunset so I can take care of you for the rest of our days. But she's not doing that. She's jumping up and around because she likes the bennies of being the first lady. That he's a shell of himself. And he's not supposed to be president of anybody. You know, so let me bring this back to you, and let's just talk about him for a second. Who's running the country? It's not him.
Well, I mean,
it's not him.
But it's never been.
No. Don't cop me out. If you have a cogent man who's in charge, every so often the guy who's in charge, you can say he's not in charge at all. But if he knows what's going on, he's not an idiot, right? So he does have some say. Everybody says this cabal, the corporations. I'll give you all that. Let's cut that shit out. Right now, Biden doesn't know whether he's up or down, sleeping or walking. He doesn't know none of that shit. And so there's a cabal of people behind him running the country. That's not who we voted for. Right? So we don't know what kind of deals they're making behind the scenes. So we're in danger of some people saying what's best for the country who are not our best elected officials. So I think that's worse than having Trump in there. And I can tell you, even though he wouldn't, if he was, listen, I don't want to make this about Trump. I want to get back to a Black woman. Right. I want to get back to that. But actually, I don't want to cut you off. What you going to say?
Nothing. No. I guess there's a lot of assumptions in there. I actually don't know why people voted for Biden. I mean, just to be fair, right? Did they vote for Biden because they hated the other guy? It was the same thing with okay. So it was the same thing. Was that the same thing with Hillary Clinton?
Yeah.
So people didn't vote for Hillary.
But people hated Hillary more. You know, that's a point, man. People hated Hillary. You know, Hillary was the one woman they hated more than Trump.
I can't see okay. So my opinion would be a little bit biased.
I think Hillary lost because white women didn't like her.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't understand, and that's the problem. I don't understand the idea of voting for or against somebody based off of whether I like the person.
But you know, come on, Joshua, that's not true. You vote for people that you like over people you don't. You telling me you vote just solely on policy? I'm serious. So think about it before you answer.
Well,
You know,
to be
if you say that you don't have no affinity for the person you vote for up and down the local, state, or federal government, I find that
well,
hard to believe.
it's well. So first of all, it's kind of an unfair question because I'm like what you call
How
always
is that
Republican,
unfair?
right? To be fair, like my votes have always been like what we call an always Republican, right? It doesn't really matter who they put in there. That's where the slot.
Because
Traditionalism, it's the closest I can get to it. Now, don't get me wrong, right? Like we've got some people that I would absolutely love to just get dumped out of the system. Can't do it though. That's why like the ideal situation for me would be to vote for somebody that's capable of enacting those policies. Just the policy alone isn't enough. It also has to be the person that's capable of doing that. Sometimes that's a little bit harder of a feat to reach. It's also why I kind of don't really like the idea of bashing on like as a Republican, or I guess technically I'm not like it's just more like an alignment concept. But as a conservative, I don't actually like bashing on Democrats. And the reason for it is I tend to believe that people are going to vote for what they believe to be in their self-interest. I might not agree with them, right? But in their mind, I think they believe that that's what's in their best interest. So I can't really fault them for it.
okay.
So it's like the bashing concept. That's what I have the issue with, I guess.
Well, listen, I hear you. You know, I mean, listen, I mean, we're probably going to go around in a circle on this thing. All I can say to you is, I think if you examine, and I don't know you, you don't know me, but I think if you examine how you vote, even if you're a traditionalist, what happens if you have to choose between two Republicans who are both traditional? You're going to vote for the one you have more affinity to than the other.
Probably going to vote for the meanest one. I like when their policies are most
whether the person's meanest or not, that's still a personality trait. That's not a policy.
Well, by meanness, I mean that they're going to have a policy that's going to be a little bit more abusive toward people. It's going to be the thing that people generally hate.
I hear you, man. I hear you. So you're a Project 2025 guy.
Yes, I told you, like I was.
I know.
That one stream, I said these are my policies, but I also think like it's fair to sit there and rip each one of those apart, right, and discuss them because there's a lot of problems that are in there. That
there's a lot of problems. One of the things about 2025, but people are trying to think that it's ominous and it's ever present, but I don't think the policies that these guys want to espouse in there will ever get passed. Right? We just had the Supreme Court decimate a federal law about Roe v. Wade, and so now we're going to put a federal law in. By the way, the Republicans renounced trying to go for a federal deletion ban because they stopped being stupid.
Sure.
You know, because they know if they want the female vote, they can't enact some stupid shit like that. Right. So what I'm trying to say is, let me get back to this. BMU, I know you're back there. I don't know if you can stick around a little bit longer. I want to play the sister one more time because we got some new people coming in. And then I want to get to the reason why I want to talk about some of our current Black females who are in office or were in office in a recent time. So if we could play that one more time, BMU, I'd appreciate that. Just for people in the back.
Start this video by saying, I am being sincere. I genuinely want to know. I am making this video so I can gain an understanding. So no one can question Black women. No one can correct Black women. No one can offer information and advice to Black women. Nobody. And I know you're probably thinking, Ash, where are you going with this? This is not a question. I see so many women come onto this app, not all, but some, a lot, to be honest, and say they're having a problem with something. And you will have people offer advice, and they will say, no, that's not it. People will make videos where they are blatantly wrong in what they did, and people will come and say, you're asking if you're right or wrong. We're here to tell you that you're wrong. No, I'm not. You will have people that will make a video. Example, I'm never approached by men. What am I doing wrong? Well, maybe you're not approachable. No, you're wrong. Help me to understand who can say anything to black women. If black women can't critique and correct black women, black men cannot critique and correct black women, because you need to stay out of women's business. We know the counterparts can't say anything, which I understand. Who can? I'm just trying to figure this out, because no matter what content that I put out, it is always with the greatest of intent to help improve my community. Now, we may not always agree, and I respect that. But why is it that everything that I say is looked at as a negative? It's looked at as I'm being a pick-me. It's looked at like, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so when the black men come and say, hey, ladies, y'all are saying that y'all are having problem with black men, here's why. No, it's not. Who can correct us? I genuinely want to know. I genuinely want to hear what y'all got to say in the comment section.
All right. Hey, listen, before I go further, hey, hello, Take Heed and Jimmy and Gregory, Elite, Corey. Thanks for dropping by. Jude. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for dropping by. Joshua, I know if you're still up there. Hey, one of the things I want to stick on what the young lady was saying about nobody can check me, boo. And that's a mainstay with the sisters. Let's go down the list of the ugly, right? We talked about the good, the aspirational impact of women trying to chase higher office and higher positions, judges and stuff. Hey, man, that's a good thing. The bad thing is how they deal with it once they get there. There's too much ego. It's too much like nobody can check me. And the ugly part, there's an ugly part to this. Now, let me start with Kamala Harris, right? Everybody knows that she was, the AG of California, I think 2010. There was a whole bunch of stuff that she did that irked, especially black men. I'm not talking about the real criminals, but the people she put in the net. They had to, I guess, they had to throw out 1,000 cases of people getting ready to go to jail because the crime labs were all messed up under her watch. She was withholding evidence of a man who was on death row. And they had to force her to release that evidence. Now, I don't think the guy was exonerated. I think it's ongoing. But I hate to say that in a death row case like that, you can't withhold evidence that may exonerate somebody, even if it doesn't. You got to give it all up, because we're talking about a one-way goddamn ticket. And then what was the most stupidest thing she did was her truancy program, throwing the poorest people in jail if their kids were out of school for 10% of the time. Can you imagine criminalizing the fact that these badass bastard children weren't listening to working parents? So you're going to throw the person who's the only breadwinner for the most part, a single mother in the household, in jail because her wayward teenager skipped school. Well, how goddamn stupid was that?
I got to ask, why is that a bad thing, right? Like, why should a parent
you can't criminalize? You can't. Well, listen, you can't criminalize something like that. If you think about it, that's not going to fix nothing but put people who are desperate in jail. But while you got the fat cats running around spending and grifting billions from everybody, and nobody's coming after them. Why are you coming after low-hanging fruit like that? That doesn't solve anything.
You do this.
That doesn't solve the truancy problem. And listen, Joshua, where are you from? I mean, what class are you think you're in? Are you in the upper middle class?
I'm definitely upper class.
Okay, all right. Listen, I mean, I know it's going to be hard for you to put this blinder on, but don't think about black people. Think about people who live in the trailer parks, right? There's a lot of white people in the trailer park.
We call them trailer trash.
Right? They live desperate lives just like black people in the ghetto. They don't have no control over their children. And they can't get control over their children. You know why? Because they can't use corporal punishment. They can't do anything to these kids to get them in line. So if I have a job that pays me by the hour, and I assume my kid's going to go to school, but they don't, what am I going to do about that? Other than yell, scream, whatever, so the people get put into you don't have to feel sorry for them. I just think the law is stupid.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? I just think it doesn't solve anything but criminalize people who would otherwise be good citizens.
Hold up. Let's try to hammer this out so we can be like as fair as we can to the position. So here's an example. Single mom has child's playing baseball in the yard, hits a baseball, smashes a window. Do you believe that the parent should be economically liable for the repair of the window, or do you believe the child should be?
Well, the parent or the league that they're playing for. Yeah.
Okay. So now when we bump up, just go up one level to like a like criminality, right? Which justice system I don't really think is designed for the idea of like what rehabilitation. It's just we have a big system. It's the system is designed to separate people from society.
Okay.
Which we already kind of technically do, like in social groups. We break
crimes, for real crimes.
Why does it break off? What is the difference between placing like administrative fines versus isolated jail?
Good boy, Josh. No, man. Listen, stop it. Okay, I hear where you're coming from, and I hate to sound like a liberal, but there's some laws that just don't need to be passed. All right, because that doesn't make any sense. Because you know why? Because if you fine a person or you give them a misdemeanor, that could be that they could lose a job over that. They could not only lose a job over that, if they can't pay a fine, because some of them are that poor, then it gets bumped up. Wait a minute, it gets bumped up, and they have tickets. You can't make it a criminal offense because your stupid bastard kid is a truant. I mean, just so many, and at the same time, let people steal stores blind because it's less than $1,000.
Right. So
I mean, come on, man. We got to focus the law on the law. The alternative is stay out of that shit.
What do you mean?
Stay out of it. It's not for the government to fix a person's household.
Hold up. Let me see if I can make my position real clear.
Go ahead.
What do you mean stay out of it? Does that mean
the government should not make that a criminal? I can't be more clear. That should be something that's not on the criminal book.
The alternative, right? So
I don't have to come up with the alternative. The alternative is the government should mind its goddamn business.
If no solution is being presented, I'm pro death penalty. Kill the kid.
For truancy?
Just go ahead.
All right, let's move on, man. Let's move on.
If there's no alternative, then there's.
I don't have to give an alternative. My alternative is that the government should stay out of it and let the parent find a way to handle it the best way they know how. And assume that. Wait a minute. And assume that the parent is trying their best. How about that?
Then how
about that? But putting a woman in jail because a kid is a truant is not an answer.
So then how can you hold any animosity toward progressives or liberals?
Because there's layers to everything.
Sure.
This is one of the things that should never have been on the books as a criminal activity at all.
Right. But
I mean, so I'm sitting down looking at stores to make our lives better.
Right. But
right? I would just hand that over to, if I had to hand it over to somebody, I would hand it over to social services to see if they can help somebody and give the counseling needed so the kid could get better. And then if that doesn't work, then you move on. We got so many real issues other than the kids in the trunk.
I guess that's what it's called where you're from.
I don't care what it is. I'm just saying it should not be a policeman coming to your goddamn door because your kid was a delinquent. Well, there's nothing you could do about because you was at work.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
so stop it. How you tell me how a parent is going to make their kid go to school when they're working 16 hours a day or 10 hours? You tell me how they're going to make a kid do that.
Of course, if you want to change, if you're effectively wanting to find a tool to enforce children's behavior, right? You basically have to find the tool that enforces the parental behavior. I agree that there's things that ought not
no, because you can't put that. You could, if your kid took a gun and went on a school spree and offed a whole bunch of kids, I think, and your parent gave the gun, that's what you put the person in jail for, and they did that. But when a kid skips school because there's no way you can control that if you're a parent. There's no way you can. You're not there. You're at work.
Who else is to blame for the child's behavior?
For truancy, it's the child.
So then, can we throw the child in jail?
In jail for truancy? Come on, now you're being ridiculous.
What are you talking about?
You know why you're being ridiculous? We're gonna give a kid who's 15 years old criminal record and put him out in trying to get a job. Now we're creating a person who's unemployable. And then he's going to be on a taxpayer's dime for the rest of his goddamn life. What are you talking about?
So
I mean, stop, man. Give me a better example. Give me an example. Truancy should not be a crime.
Oh, I disagree.
Well, but that's okay. Let's move on and agree to disagree, or just disagree.
Yeah,
period.
Okay,
let's move on because I don't like your solutions and you don't like mine. So let's stop talking about that. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so Kamala Harris. Okay, let me finish with Kamala Harris. She's in line to be the president, and she code switched, right? Because when she was the AG of California, her whole mantra was tough on crime so stupidly that she wanted to put single mothers in jail because their kids skip school. All right, I think that's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. And then when she became the DEI vice president, and I call her the DEI vice president because they expressly put her in there is because she's non-white. They expressly put her in there because she was a woman. They didn't care how ready she was to be vice president, which they say is anybody could do it. But Amy Klobuchar would have been a much better vice president than her. So, and I have no doubt about that. And she failed at that because she was supposed to be the border zone. Right. So if she became president, I think she'd code switch again and have the biggest Johnson in the White House.
Oh, she possibly could, right? But I don't. My crystal ball's broken. I don't know what.
So I'm just saying that people who are really excited about the opportunity for her to be president, I'm even thinking that I'm listening to, and we're going to see some videos come up, and real quick ones, short ones. I don't think the rank and file black woman is that excited for switching Kamala Harris in right now at all. Right? So I'm not seeing them really being that sanguine about a change, but there's some reasons for that. Okay, let me give you the next candidate, Lori Lightfoot, Chicago. Again, and I'm gonna say she definitely was put in office by black people who are used to voting for people based on their character, based on their identity. She got put in there, and it's not me. You can go back through all the shit when she was running. First black woman, first gay woman. Well, we need her as mayor. They didn't say what her policy. They didn't give a shit about her policies, that she was going to be the maven of sanctuary cities and have all these illegal immigrants eat up the small amount of tax dollars you get in your black neighborhood. No, she's black. She's a woman. And look what you got. You got Brandon Johnson now. He sucked whatever life was left in the black and Latino communities out and got tens of thousands of illegal immigrants in there sucking off the taxpayers' tits. And now you got what you voted for. Thank God, right? So she was like that. So she only did one term because she was so unpopular. She knew better than to run again. And the only thing I'll give her is that her tenure was over COVID. So nobody was able to perform during that period of time in any real way. So I'll give her a pass for that part. But the police force was against her. Everything. I mean, she was, Anyway, so that was Lori Lightfoot, another black woman who, if she was president, we'd be running for the hills. Keisha Lance Bottoms of Atlanta, mayor, 2018 and 2022. I don't really have anything real bad to say, but by the end of her tenure, she had to govern over COVID as well. So she gets a pass for that because nobody did a good job then. However, the crime rate was going crazy in Atlanta, but she chose her family over running for a second term because I believe she would have had a good chance to win a second term. But she actually chose her family. So that just tells you that she's a woman of some kind of discernment. Yeah, I could be a high boss babe, but I don't have to take the pressures of being a mayor of a whole bunch of lawless people in Atlanta, right? So so I'll give her a pass, but she's on the list because she chose family, which a lot of women can't stand choosing family over a profession, but she did. And it probably saved her marriage, and her kids probably love her for it. All right, so Catherine Pugh, another American, another Baltimore mayor who got put in jail for 3 years, criminal charges for fraud and tax evasion as mayor. I mean, come on. This was 2016 to 2019. Okay, and everybody's favorite mayor next, Tiffany Henyard. None of us would even know where Dalton, Illinois was if it wasn't for this ratchet hyena who's in charge. Her ego is so big that she doesn't even see what's coming. They got an FBI investigation. They have an SA allegation against one of her top aides. I mean, she's just a mess. And you don't have to take my word for it. It's all over the internet. Another woman who's supposed to be a pinnacle of something to look forward to, and she's just fumbling the bag. Ketanji Brown Jackson. So wait, let me just say this. I'll let you go.
Well, no, I need clarification. So like your position is your position that women ought not be like, I don't know, government or government office? Is it specifically black women ought not, or?
No, my position is that we have a statistically significant sample size of black women who aspired for higher office that all in some way fumbled the bag. And this is the kind of women liberal kind of women we will get to choose from to become president. I want to see. Listen. That's what you asked me, and I'm telling you.
Well, I'm trying to get your metric now.
My metric is the list of women I'm going through. These are women in the modern era.
If it's the case that somebody can present a list of men that do some of the same,
we're not talking about men today. I
know, but that's why I can't figure out.
Okay, let me reason why the men thing ain't pertinent. Because if I put 10 men up there, right? It's been politics has been a male dominant thing. Of course, there's going to be 10 men that might not have been good. So we're not talking about men. We're talking about women breaking through the glass ceiling, right? So if you're breaking through the glass ceiling, you put your best foot forward. It would have been better if I could have went down this 10 list and just talked about how great these women are. Instead, they took their power and went apeshit crazy with it. All right, so let me finish. Okay, let me finish. All right, so, and these are all contemporary women. Ketanji Brown Jackson. Listen, I'll concede that she's probably just as smart as anybody to be on the Supreme Court. But Biden made her a DEI hire by saying it was his number one focus to put a black woman on the Supreme Court. Automatically, it put her behind the 8 ball. Automatically, because people are saying, oh, you're only a Supreme Court justice because you're black. That's no reason to give somebody a Supreme Court seat, right? And then when they ask her what a woman is, she couldn't even answer that. And so my problem with her is, if I was on a board to vote her in, it's because she's so liberal that she wants to refuse to answer a question of what a woman is, right? An adult female, right? So all I'm just trying to say is that liberalism is dangerous. And let me tell you why, okay? I'm going to say this. Anybody out there, I'll tell you why, right? Because I take a whole lot of shit for God granting me life for 66 years. Okay. I remember when women fought like hell to get Title IX passed. I remember that. I remember what they did to get that legislation passed so women could have equal opportunity to college scholarships, athletics, and all those things that could propel them into adulthood. And when they got it, it was one of the best pieces of legislation ever written. And so now, because men don't want to stand up and be men anymore, they want to be women. They want to crash Title IX, and the Democrats want to rewrite it so it could fit transgenders. And women, you're going to get what you vote for because they're erasing you from the books. When Bruce Jenner decided to become a woman, he still got his Johnson, by the way, and he won Woman of the Year, and he didn't bleed once, not 1 month out of his whole life. And all you women clapped and applauded. You goddamn idiots. That's when y'all were supposed to fight. Y'all should have fought. Now we got a young woman like Riley Gaines with enough balls to say this is bullshit. So, because she had to stand in the locker room with a guy's dick in her face. Stop. So Ketanji Brown Jackson is for that kind of shit. So that's why I wouldn't put her on the court. Not because she's a black woman, because I think she's probably just as astute in law and interpreting Supreme Court shit and all that kind of stuff as anybody else. Because most of us think those guys are idiots anyway. But her position socially, liberally, is dangerous. All right. So then go ahead, Joshua. You want to say something?
Well, hold up. No, Trey's in the back. I didn't realize he was here.
I didn't see Trey. I didn't see his name. Okay, Trey, go ahead, man.
I say, man, I hear you over, man. You over getting worked up, ain't you, man?
Say, what's going on, man? What you got?
How you doing, man? I chimed in a little bit about the truancy thing. I didn't hear much, man, because I'm sort of doing something.
What do you think about the truancy thing, man?
Working in education, up until a certain age is the parent's responsibility. Once a child reaches 7th through 12th grade, it's totally on the student. But, it's just the dynamic of, like you said, single parents, if they're going to support their family, they have to go to work. So you would hope, I don't think people really look at the responsibility of teaching a child as it goes to school and gets older to understand the responsibility of going to school. Because if a child is on truancy and they out doing some dumb shit, like a lot of inner city poor black children do, unfortunately, if they was to get hurt outside of school hours, then it's totally on the mother. If they go break in a house, steal a car, and somebody get injured, it's on that parent.
Yeah, but it might be on the parent for the crime, right? So
yeah, it would be, because the child is not in school. The child should be in school, and you can't willfully hold a child out of school, because that's illegal.
But that's a different story, though. Willfully holding a child out of school. Kids used to.
But that's part of truancy. That's part of truancy too.
But the word willful changed. That's a different kind of truancy, though.
But I'm just saying, our thing, both of them are truancy. The kids respond.
Most kids will stay out of school because they're skipping school, not because their parents are holding them out of school.
Right. But what I'm saying, both of them apply to truancy. With the children staying out of school, with the children staying out of school, then up to a certain age, it dawns to be responsibility of the child after age 13.
Okay. So let's take. So now we're talking about. Let's take willful truancy. I would, if when Joshua mentioned that, I would grant that to be some kind of, there should be penalties for that. But what percentage of truancy is willful truancy as opposed to the kid just skipping school?
Maybe about 10, 15, between 10 and 20%.
Right. But if you treat them both the same, now what are we doing?
We looking at truancy being up over 50%.
No, but if you treat them both the same as a criminal act, the willful one is one thing, right? And the remedy is coming down on the parents. But most kids who skip school are not doing it because the parents are willful.
Right. I know. Yeah, I know that. But what I'm saying,
if you make that a criminal activity, with all the crime that's going on.
But I think listen. it's not a criminal act. You know, you can't. It's almost like you got to look at the law. Every state is different. It can be
we're talking about Kamala Harris made it a criminal act.
You're right, because in some states it can be a misdemeanor charge.
It's still a criminal act.
But that's what I'm saying. She made the right decision. Whoever's doing the transit should go to jail.
No.
But listen, man, a child is going because a child is going to go to juvenile. A child to go to juvenile.
So what? So if a parent is working, how are they going to make sure the kids going to school? Tell me, somebody answer that question.
So again, who's responsible once the child is age 13?
No, answer the question that if your kid.
I said the child. Yeah, if my child is missing school, his ass need to get.
If he's 10, 11, 12, if he's in junior high school, he's 13, 14. These kids are willful at that age. But no, I'm paying the age of consent. Is go by the age of consent in your state. If the kids, if the kids, no, listen, I don't think that was the law in California. She said
whatever the age of consent is.
There wasn't no age of consent. She said if your kid missed 10% of their school, right, it's a misdemeanor charge against the parent. They threw a woman in jail.
I understand that, I think, because the problem is who's going to put so if a parent is not really handling their responsibilities, then the child is going to have that's part of the behavior problem.
So we don't have to goddamn black women in jail.
Well, I think we should be, but
kids out in the street doing all kinds of fuckery, man.
So that's part of the system. That's part of the setup. If you don't get them right in school, then they go run the streets and do the same thing. It's all part of the same dynamic. Listen, you better go up in these schools, man.
They ain't throwing the parents in jail for the kids doing circles.
I know that.
If you were telling me they had a law to put the parents in jail for that, I would agree with you. But
that's what you just did, right?
No, I would agree with that. I don't see a parent being able to stop their kid from skipping class.
But I think now, technically, if a child decides to do it, the parent can't physically. But what I'm saying, we know that you can't physically stop the child. But I think, so I think if you teaching your daughters to take their ass and go to school and do their work, do you think they will follow your instructions?
We're talking about kids that don't follow instructions.
So you got to, at some point, after whatever the age of consent is, then the child is responsible.
So we're going to end up putting parents in jail for life because they can't control their children?
No, not for life. Our pain just going to be a little.
They lose their job.
Our pain, no, you're going to be put up. You're gonna be put on a contingency plan.
I think you guys are running in circles, bro. You guys are running in circles.
In education, I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, listen, we can move on. Let's just invite the new guys are up here. Trey, I don't know who came first. You or Ek and I missed it. Go ahead. Who came first? Go ahead.
I have seniority over Trey. Trey, sit down. Let your big brother talk.
Go ahead.
Let your big brother talk, Trey.
Don't say that shit to Trey. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Trey, sit down. Yeah. So this is what it is. Okay. Let me put it this way. Parents shouldn't go to jail for their children skipping school. I'm using myself as an example. I skipped school a lot when I was a little kid, and I paid the price. And one thing that should have happened to me was me facing the consequences of my action at the age of 13 and 14. Children should be punished, put in jail for skipping class. Children should get misdemeanor for skipping class. Children should.
Come on.
I tell you, this is one thing that is fucking up the West now that China is doing good at. China, they will mess you up if you want to be bad. And here we're giving children rights that they don't know how to manage. You can't give something to somebody that they're going to mismanage or don't know how to manage.
I don't want to keep going too far down. I want Trey to go. This is just a tangent of the discussion. If in China, you could probably beat the shit out of your children too. You can't do that here. All right, so that's one thing. So Trey, you got something? Go ahead, man. Say with your piece, because what we're here for, Ekene, if you read the title, we're here to see if the woman is good to be president of the United States. So I want to get back on track. I don't know if Trey just disappeared. He'll be back. Go ahead. So listen, go ahead, Trey. Go ahead, man. What's going on?
Well, I came to speak about truancy, but if you're changing the topic,
Well, no, go ahead, man. Say your piece, man. I gotta let you say your piece. Too.
No,
you're the policeman.
I work truancy. That was actually my first detail when I got on the department.
Okay.
And nobody can go. You can't put anybody. You can't put the kids in. You can't put the mother in. Nobody goes to jail for truancy. How you defeat this problem is that you actually fine them like you're supposed to. In most cities and in most places, there actually is a truancy fine. In DC, where I worked, it was $500. We caught your kid and they weren't in school. We caught your kid out past, I think in the summertime it was 11, and in the wintertime it was 10 p.m. So there's supposed to be a $500 fine. But we never find anybody. And I don't think you write them a ticket because, the citation, because they won't actually pay it. You start taking it out of their state tax return. All of these women who got single mothers, they are typically W-2 workers, and they typically file taxes, and that's where you hit them. For every time your child get picked up by truancy, they start to pull up a tab. And so when your mama get her refund back and she only getting $300, but her kid got picked up 6 times for truancy, well, that's $3,000 right there. You just cost your mama $3,000. Because the problem is that putting them in, and what they would do like a weekend rotation. Arpain, they wouldn't put them in. They would have to show up like every weekend. They would do weekends in prison. You know what I mean? Or in jail. Yeah. It doesn't work. None of that stuff will work. Even if you did it for the kids, you put them in juvie. None of that. That's a badge of honor for a kid to go to juvie these days. So that's not a good idea. But what will hurt them is if mamas would be walking them kids into the school themselves if they knew that their tax returns were on the line if their kid didn't go to school. So that's all I want to say about that. But locking people up for truancy, it's a bad idea.
So let's get back on topic here. All right. So you see the topic of the thing. So maybe you can answer this real quick. From your estimation, does a modern Black woman have, or is she ready or have the temperament to be president of the United States? Just a general swag. I don't know how long you've been here or not.
The modern woman?
Yeah, the pool of women we have. I was going down a list of women who are in high office, and I'm not finished yet, but go ahead. What do you think?
No. Absolutely. Hell, we got men that shouldn't be president, so hell no. Hell no. Absolutely not. And listen, there's a fairly good chance that Kamala will be the Democratic nominee. That could happen. Especially,
I'm telling you, yes.
It's not going to happen.
What you think might happen versus what's being set up to happen are two different things.
Exactly.
Because Disney pulling their money was a big blow to that campaign.
Yes.
So, and there are a lot of Democrats who are coming out and saying, I don't know about this. So there's a very good possibility that Kamala could be their nominee. And I'm telling you right now, we in for a world of hurt. Because I will say this, unlike Biden, she is sharp enough to go back and forth with Trump. Now, I don't know whether or not she'll actually be, I don't know if she'll actually be effective, but she ain't gonna stand there and take it. That's what
no. Trey, let me kick in here, right? Let me just kick in. She will be extremely effective against Trump. But do I want her to be president? No. But in terms of hitting Trump hard in the election, she will do that. Because she has a whole lot of punches to pull against Trump. She has a lot. And she will be effective. You said she's not going to be able to beat Trump. That's what you said in terms of debate.
That's not what I said.
Okay. My bad. I thought you said she can.
Let me get back on this. We showed this video. I don't know if you guys saw the video, but the young lady who said that nobody could check Black women. And that's true. And one of the things I have going down my list of Black sisters, I'm just thinking that the pool of Black women that we have, mostly are liberal, that are in the public eye right now, and most of them come out of that class of nobody can check me, boo kind of women. So the next woman I have up is Fannie Willis. Fannie Willis is a disgraced DA, right? She decided because she's a badass chick that she could have an adulterous affair with a subordinate. If that was a man, he would have lost everything by now, right? Not only did she get a pass, she went behind the pulpit in the church and told everybody, you know what? Well, you know, hey, whatever, man. You know, I'm human. You know, not, you know, the first of all, the pastor should have never gave her the pulpit because the church and state thing. And she messed up all kinds of stuff and disgraced the office. And she did the same thing that men get excommunicated for when they have sex with a woman who's their subordinate. And she didn't even give a shit. You know, so to me, she had this high office where she was supposed to be a beacon of everything, and she just blew it because she wanted some Johnson. And since, you know, I can get Johnson just like, you know, I'm a woman. I can, you know, hey, why? Why can't I get Johnson? Anyway, so that's that. How about Marilyn Mosby from Maryland? She got convicted of perjury. She got off light. She got 12 months of house arrest and 3 years. These are the pinnacle black women who people were looking up to, just blowing the bag. How about Christina? Wait a minute, let me finish. What about Christina Peterson? We just saw her get kicked off the judge. She was a judge. She's a disgraced judge. Got kicked out because of blatant, systematic incompetence. But then they catch her on video with tits almost flying out, hitting the cop.
To be fair, she's a probate judge. To be fair.
Okay, so what does that mean? Tell me what that. What's the difference? But that's a
probation.
Okay, so it's still position.
It probably has more to do with like a state
small claim stuff.
So she was a probate judge, to be fair.
But she put a woman in jail for misspelling on a goddamn marriage license.
Let me say this, Mr. Penn.
Yeah, say.
Everybody that you just named right now, that you're right. But Marilyn Mosby of Maryland, no. That I got to tell you, a lot of people do that shit that she did and never went to jail for one day. I think hers was unfair.
You know what? That doesn't mean a hill of fucking beans that other people got away with it. We're talking about her.
But a lot of people in politics do that shit, man.
Listen, it doesn't matter.
They gotta be fair across the board. Nah, I disagree on that. You know me, I disagree on that one.
You mean if I commit murder just because other people do it, I can do
it?
No,
my mother is going too far. Mother is too far.
Stop. No, let's stop it, man. She has a bigger role to play as a black woman in a position. The highest cop in that area, she's not supposed to be doing shit like that and saying. You think
man, look at Clarence Thomas. Look at Clarence Thomas. He's not supposed to be in jail.
Wait a minute, man.
Come on, brother.
You think it's a good justification in court? Everybody else.
The Supreme Court judge. I'm answering you the question. Look at the Supreme Court judge. Look at Samuel Alito. They did worse than her, and they're still changing laws. They're still impacting 350 million people. Come on, brother. You know, you and I are on the same page on everything, right? But no, not on this one. No, she's a scapegoat, brother.
What the Supreme Court does does not affect everybody in the country. Right. Abortion right, repealing Roe versus Wade didn't affect me one bit.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I agree on Roe versus Wade. All those things I agree. But these two guys took money from lobbyists. They took money from lobbyists. They bought property so cheap. Those two guys have no morals at all.
Can you hear me, man? Can you hear me?
It's politics.
Well, can you hear me?
That's what she did. And she almost went to jail for that guy. She did the same politics goddamn thing. And she almost went to jail for it.
Can you hear me?
She should be in jail.
No, you guys shouldn't be supporting people because they are Republicans. You gotta be fair across the street, across the board. I'm sorry.
Yeah. listen.
Yeah.
If you can't hear me, man, you gotta get some.
Okay.
I'm telling you, this is bullshit, man. Because it's just let me say what I gotta say. Listen, this is bullshit. She's fucking guilty, and she can't say everybody else is doing it, so I can. That's not a fucking defense. That's
No, I'm the one that said it. I'm the one that said, not she. She didn't say it.
You ain't supposed to be yelling on my goddamn screen that that's okay. That's bullshit.
No, I didn't say it's okay. I didn't say it's okay. I didn't say it's okay
because other people did it. Let's talk about common sense. She got caught, and she got to be punished for it. All right, so I'm gonna move on anyway. Natalie Hall, just another woman who's a commissioner, right? Down there, she was stroking her subordinate, and she opened
those people are stupid.
Stop, man. Let me say what I gotta fucking say, man. Be quiet for a second, right? So listen, she got caught. She got caught fucking a subordinate in her office more than once. So she opened them up to a lawsuit. They lost like $1 million because of her. She still got her job, right? But this is another black woman who's supposed to be a beacon, not supposed to be a role model, just doing whatever they want. And let me just move on, and then you guys can speak. How about Patrice Cullors of BLM? We still don't know where $90 million went with them, right? We still don't know. I mean, just because somebody's a woman and black, they get these passes that they're not supposed to get. And we still don't know where the 90 million is. And that was done on the backs of dead black men. And nobody's pissed off enough about that shit, but I am. So these are the women who create the pool of women who may become president one day, right? So until we start getting women coming out of this pool that want to be above reproach and don't use the Ekene kind of thing just because everybody else does it, I can do it too. We're going to be behind the 8 ball. So so I say to you, Ekene, let me ask you a question. I'm going to ask you the question. You think the modern black woman is ready and have the temperament to be president of the United States?
I am disappointed on this question. This question that you just asked me, because you've known me for more than a year now, and you know where. No. Let me finish. You know my stance. You know my stance is about. You know my stance is about moral principle, and that includes that all these women that you just read out right now. You are 100% correct. The only person I disagree on is Marilyn Mosby. That's it. Every other one of them, right? Every other one of them. I'm coming. Every other one of them, you are 100% correct. We should hold women. I will land. We should hold women responsible. In fact, women, by virtue of nature, right, are supposed to be beyond reproach than men. Because society see them as the first phase of morality. The first person that gets to influence a child is the mother, not the father. So if you, as the first line of defense to a child, doesn't have morals, we are doomed.
Okay.
Completely. We are doomed.
Okay, I still don't see your point.
We're not. Okay, don't let them get away with
that. What else do you want me to say?
I hate it. You know, when you guys do this moral high road bullshit that y'all do, it's such nonsense. We're not doomed. They didn't have morals in the Roman times either. They didn't have morals.
I didn't say they have morals.
Be quiet.
Man, the next time you guys said should be quiet.
We're not doomed.
Let them speak, man. Let them speak, man.
We weren't doomed in the 1400s when they came and picked up the slaves. We weren't doomed in the 1600s. We weren't doomed in the 1800s. People have lacked morals for centuries. This is nothing new. You guys in this fucking moral high road bullshit. People will always be corrupt because people are selfish, plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
And even the people that you think are good are bad. I promise you they are. I have a former congressman, and now attorney general in my family. On paper, he looked like a good dude. I guarantee you, behind closed doors, it ain't all that good.
Hey, BFU, get back there.
I got a name for you, though, R-Pain.
Yeah.
A name for you. What do you think about Condoleezza Rice?
See, I like her, except that she's older than me.
Yeah. Yeah, age could be a
Bitch, hold it
factor.
higher.
But if I had to nominate someone, and it
Yeah,
had to be a woman, it had to be a black woman,
yeah.
it probably be. It probably
Well,
would
let me
be.
ask you this, Trey. Isn't it a problem that we don't have more conservative black women out there?
Oh, for sure. But Candace Owens was talking about this and saying
Yeah.
that one of the reasons why our community is struggling so badly is because we have so many black women who are liberal and moderate. You know what I mean? And we don't have enough conservative black women to uphold standards and traditions like that's the right would do. So yeah, I mean, no, we would be better off if we had more conservative women, but unfortunately,
Absolutely.
we don't.
We just don't. Hey, let me move on let's move on to, I got a clip I want to play. Hey, so can we get to the second clip? I'm not going to play both of them. I just want to get to the second clip. There's a round table of women reacting to the debate. And it's black women. And let's just go ahead and play that real quick. I know we're kind of running out of time a little bit. And I appreciate you guys coming up, A-Team and all the folks in the chat and all that kind of good stuff. But go ahead, if you can get to that.
MSNBC's Simone Sanders Townsend and
I think
they do this shit every 4 years.
MSNBC legal analyst Melissa Murray sat down with a group of black women from that same town to discuss Biden's debate performance and whether the campaign can be saved. And Melissa Murray joins us now. She is Stokes Professor at New York University School of Law. And Simone, why don't you set the scene for us a little bit more than I did to give us context for this conversation? This is right after the debate, correct?
Yes, correct. Thanks so much, Miko. So on Sunday, the Sunday right after the debate, Melissa and I traveled to one of the states that's going to be critical for both candidates, Trump and Biden, in this 2024 election, Pennsylvania. And we went to Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, to Bluebell, and we sat down and had a wide-ranging conversation with 7 intergenerational women, and they all knew each other. Many of them knew Melissa, which is how we kind of sourced and found different women in the area. And we talked about a lot, but as a part of our conversation, Melissa and I thought it was important to make sure we talk about the recent events that happened, the debate, these calls for the president to step down, and what these women, these black women in the suburbs who will be deciders in this election, black women all across this country, about what they think the path forward should be. So it was great.
All right, let's take a look at part of the conversation where the women react to the actual debate. Take a look.
Did anybody here think that Joe Biden, after seeing that first debate, that Joe Biden should drop out of the race?
I hoped that both candidates would drop out of the race. Both. I didn't like either one of them. I didn't think they represented the United States well. And that's to Joy's point. Being in a different country, I traveled outside the country a while ago to visit Joy, and I get it. People are looking at the United States like, what are you all doing? What are you all collectively smoking? Right. It's embarrassing. So I wanted them both to drop out.
Same here. Absolutely. Wish they would both drop out. I'm a bit worried about Biden's ability to be able to run a country. I don't know if he'll be able to do it if he is elected for the next 4 years. And I do think he does have other options within the party who could step up and carry out similar things that he wants to be carried out. It just doesn't, I don't think it should be him.
Trump is only a few years younger than Biden. Do you worry about his ability to run the country?
Not just age, but like mentally.
Okay.
That man is
cognitively. Yeah.
That man is unhinged. Absolutely. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I don't trust Trump at all.
Hey, PM, can you
so
stop it
Simone,
here?
You can take it to Melissa, by the way. I just wondered what you both think. And
PM, can you stop it here? Yeah. Listen, they're going to just talk. I wanted one more clip I'm going to play, but listen, it was more of the same. I don't think these ladies were that sanguine about having Kamala Harris come on. There's a second part of this clip, but it's not more beneficial than what you just saw. They're going to say that they're going to riff around the whole idea of changing people in between. And I think a lot of people are afraid of that because there's 4,000 delegates that Biden has wrapped up right now. And they don't know if they can shift gears and actually have a better chance to win. And I have a feeling even these black women are not that confident that Kamala Harris can pull it off. Right. And I think they have a right. I think they're right by feeling that. What say you guys?
The question was about Joe Biden. The question was about Joe Biden.
Right.
And if he should drop out.
Right.
Had nothing to do with Trump. It was about his performance. Well, I wish they both would. So essentially, you're saying, without saying, that you wish that Biden would drop out. If the caveat is that Trump will drop out too. So you want him gone. This is the typical, they do this shit every 4 years, Arpain. They get a bunch of black women to sit around a fucking table and start talking nonsense and spewing bullshit. And none of them ever answer the question. The question was about Joe Biden, should he drop out? Your answer to the question, even though you guys didn't say it, was yes, we think he should.
Right. And they're afraid of the alternative. That's true. You know,
I got.
Go ahead, man.
Trey, I got to ask you a question before I comment. When was the last time you asked a black woman a question and she answered you the question?
You know, let's not go down that path, man. Stay on point, man.
Come on, man. Ben. I gotta let me tell you something, Ben. Let me just say it man to man, okay?
No.
No. Let me. Ben, I've been to Ben. Can I talk, please? I've been to podcasts a lot. You're the only one that always want to control how people will talk or give their opinion.
No,
let people talk. You do that a lot. Let people just speak their opinion. It's their opinion. It's not a fact.
Answer the question so we can move on.
I want to answer a question, but I just
I'll answer the question. Can you move on after that? This morning when I talked to my mother, she gave me a straight answer. Let's move on.
Good. I'm glad. So this is what I got to say. I don't ever want her to be the president of the United States at all. Because whatever mess that has happened in these past 4 years of Biden, if she become president, man, it's going to be 10 times worse.
Why? Tell me why.
Why? Because the reason is this. Look, we're trying to get rid of this abortion nonsense that is going on now. That a lot of these women are trying to get access to abortion. As the president of the United States and as a woman, she's going to push for so many women programs that is going to be detrimental to men.
How does that affect your life?
How is it going to affect my life?
Yeah.
Every president's policy affects your life one way or the other.
How does it affect your life, Ekene? That was my question.
No. I use abortion abortion doesn't really affect my life.
How does that affect your life?
It doesn't really affect my life.
Okay, why the fuck are we talking about it?
That's right. So Ekene, let me say this before you accuse me of something else. Listen, if you would have said that she would have been pro rainbow, so pro rainbow, which is a detriment to a lot of folks, like Title IX, then that might have been something to discuss. But I don't want to go. See, one of the things, brother, that I try to guard against is going down, tangents, that staying on them and miss the main point. So I don't know what podcast you're on, but there's some podcasts that don't let that happen. So I'm more lenient than other people.
I'm talking about something different.
Hold on, man. You shouldn't be frustrated about that. I'm just asking you to just listen to what I'm saying. So listen, BMU, I got one clip on the third. If you could play the second clip on the second part of the third clip, to Stephen A. Smith talking to Avina to Martin, the second part, not the first part, but just the second part. There's a point there, and then we could just have a conversation to the end. I don't know perspective.
He said, "Hold on."
Yeah, okay. I was going to look at the back chat. Okay. So anyway, listen. Hey, Ekene, man, I'm glad you're up here. I haven't seen you in a while, but you're just as ornery as ever. Maybe it's the baby, man. Maybe you don't get out enough. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to argue and shit. I'll just try to have a nice, smooth little thing and stay on point. So other than that, how's life going, brother, while we wait? Okay?
Yeah, we thank God, man. It's not easy, bro. I've been very, very busy this summer.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing, right?
Oh yeah, very, very good thing. I've been very busy this summer.
Okay,
absolutely, positively, yes. But do you throw out a candidate because they have one bad debate? Donald Trump said, "Grab women by the P." He has 34 felony convictions. My brother D.L. Hughley put it best. If we can forget all of that We can forget one bad night on a debate stage. Joe Biden is not a debater. He's a doer.
Okay, that is fair. And listen, I'm willing to acknowledge and articulate some of the successes that Joe Biden has had as president of the United States. I don't think that's debatable, but I think that respectfully, folks like yourself, and you and I have talked about this privately, so I can say this. Here's where I think y'all missing the boat. Nobody's questioning Biden's record. Nobody with sense, as far as I'm concerned, is really questioning Biden's record. We might lament inflation and stuff like that, but that's for the right to do and all of that stuff. There's a lot of positives emanating from his administration. That is not the point. The point isn't about what he's done. The point is, when you see what you saw Thursday night during the debate, what reason in God's name would you have to believe or feel confident about 4 more years? You can feel both. You can look at him and his record and say, I'm pleased with what he has done. But in the same breath, why are we asking an 82 soon to be 82-year-old, 81 soon to be 82-year-old to give us 4 more years, particularly when there are candidates like a Kamala Harris, our reigning vice president, like a Gavin Newsom, governor of California, like a Hakeem Jeffries, speaker of the House. There's an abundance of candidates out there. Why are we looking at Joe Biden and saying 4 more years? That is the subject, Areva.
Okay, and let me tell you why. I'm glad you raised those points. Here is why. Because when you all being all of you folks that want to replace Joe Biden, when you had an opportunity to pick the Black woman, Kamala Harris, to pick a gay guy, Pete Buttigieg, to pick a Latino, when they were all running against Joe Biden in 2020, guess what? Kamala Harris couldn't even get to the general election because folks would not support her. They would not give money to her campaign. She had to drop out before the California primary. Y'all got selective amnesia. So don't tell me you all want Kamala Harris to be your president. When Kamala Harris ran for president, she could not get the support even of Black folks in our community. The reality is you're not just electing Joe Biden. You are electing an administration, and Kamala Harris will be in that administration.
No, okay, that was the first part. I wanted to hit the second part, but so just play the second part while we're here, man. I want to play the second part. I just want to get through it. It's short too. And the lady says something I think is pertinent.
He said a lot. I'm going to have to write some notes down because I wanted to address that.
Go ahead, address it. Go ahead.
First of all, she made the point that he had one bad debate. This isn't about Biden having one bad debate. Biden for the last 3 years has shown an inability to just be a normal human being. He's fallen off of a bike. He fell off of a stage. He's tripped up the stairs I don't know how many times. He's shown his age and weakness and just simple motor skills. And I'm supposed to believe that this man can lead a country? He can't walk up a flight of stairs.
He's done.
So this isn't about him having one bad debate. No, this isn't about one bad debate. He's shown this over the last few years. That's what the issue is. And he seems to be getting frailer and frailer and weaker as the days go by. The beginning of that, the beginning of that debate, I don't even think he was there. I'm not even sure he was there. It's like he took the limitless pill like halfway through and the shit kicked in and he was like, all right, I'm here now. It was bad.
It was bad. It was real bad. You know, so I don't know if you want to chime in, Ekene. All I'm trying to say is, again, she was right about the fact that nobody, when she had a chance to run, she didn't get the support. And now she's vice president. And like you said, and like I said, she has a real good chance to being president, right? Because if Biden happens to win, which I don't see how he's going to do, but he can win. I mean, it's not over. He's not going to make it 4 years. He's not going to make it 4 years. So, just you got something, Ekene? Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I've got to say something because I got to run. Whatever that lady said is nonsense. She don't know what she's talking about because then she didn't have the chance of being president. Now, yeah, maybe if Biden, something goes wrong between now and then, something happens, yeah, she might become president. She doesn't have any chance of being president. So whatever she said doesn't make any sense. And beside that, Biden is old, man. I got to tell you this. My dad passed away at 82. Biden's age that he's about to be right now. That's when my dad passed, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think in my normal mind that I'm going to see my dad stepping up to go be president when he's supposed to be in his sick bed. Biden has Alzheimer's and is so visible to the whole country. Most of us that were around in the late 80s, right? No, in the 80s, right? Late 80s. Remember Ronald Reagan? Yes. Ronald Reagan is not even Biden's age. Do you know that Ronald Reagan, what saved Ronald Reagan was because there was George H.W. Bush. People believed in Bush. Bush was president, even though he was the vice president, right? He was president. People believed in him. Kamala is not that.
No, well,
she's not.
Black women don't even believe in her. Hey, KP, what's going on, man? Thanks a lot,
Okay. Yeah, I'll be back.
What's going on, KP? What you got on the subject?
What's up, fellas? I feel the same way y'all do, man. It's like they act like they haven't been lying to us for years about his cognitive abilities, and then we've seen it on display, and then they're like, "No, that's not what you saw." Huh? Wait, hold on. So you're telling me I didn't just see LeBron James miss the dunk? He just missed the dunk. We watched the instant replay. Like, are you going to scrub the internet of the video? I'm not saying Trump is the greatest candidate against him, but what I'm saying is this. Y'all had 4 years to come up with something better than this, and y'all ran him out there. They ran a man out there that's supposed to be on a walker, bro. He's supposed to have a walker, bro, and they ran him out there. And the guy showed him mercy by not disrespecting him on stage.
Yes. Matter of fact, the rules kept Trump in line.
And this is the part y'all didn't say about either, too, R-Pain.
What's that?
He already knew all the questions. He's scouted all the questions. They gave him all. He's already reviewed them for 2 weeks. Like, bro. So
okay, so let me ask you both a question, though. What do you think about what Joe Biden is doing? What kind of wife do you think she is to him?
I don't think she has a say.
She doesn't have a say. No,
I don't think she has a say in this at all.
Yeah,
I think her job is to wipe his ass and to make sure that he looks at least presentable in front of the public. I mean, that's her job as a wife. Hey, KP, let me ask you a question, KP. If I called you, KP, and I said, hey, my grandmother fell off her bike, she's tripping up the stairs, and she's falling down, what would your advice be to me?
My advice would be to you, she needs to have somebody to care for her 24/7 around the clock, and she needs to be in a home if you can't take care of her every day.
Now, KP, if I said, but she's the president.
they gonna tell us, this is what they gonna tell us, Trey. They got a new Secret Service plan that's being installed where you are able to basically be helped wherever you need to go. They got a teleprompter for you. He's essentially like a bot candidate for real right now.
You know what's funny to me, R-Pain, about this? We talk a lot about Trump, but he's not having the cognitive problems. He's playing golf every day at his country club. He's cheating, but he playing golf every day at his country club. You know what I mean? Like,
And Trey, hold on, Trey. This is the part that they minimize, that they lied to us this many years, and then they gonna try to tell us Trump is a liar too. We know he's a liar.
We did know that.
What are you talking about, bro?
We knew that from the 80s when he was in Atlantic City.
Let me ask you guys another question. Who's running the country, and does it bother you that the front man has no say in what's going on?
The rich people are running the country. The lobbyists are running the country. The people with the money are running the country. We all know that for the most part, the president, and this is why Trump was a little bit different, because he already had his money. So you couldn't control him but so much, because he don't need your money, right? But majority of this country is ran by the billionaire family, the Khans, I can't think of Rockefellers. Yeah,
I'm going to dig a little bit deeper
those
than that.
Families.
Well, I want to dig a little deeper. I know that that's true, but at least in the past, the guy who was the puppet master knew he was the puppet, right? Biden doesn't even know that. All right, so they're making.
He doesn't know what city he's in, R-Pain. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. You don't even know that.
Trey and R-Pain, it might even be worse, because the puppet is worse than a dead puppet. It's a damn shame, bro. Like, they can't even put their fingers in his back to make him work.
You know what my biggest fear is, KP and R-Pain, is that he gets reelected, and then something unfortunate, I'm not wishing death on him at all, but something unfortunate happens to him, and Kamala is thrusted into that position.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And you also
happen.
have to remember she has to pick a vice president too. So she gets thrusted in a position. She has to pick a vice president, right? What immediately will happen is that there will be a loss of confidence in the country because the president died and a woman was pushed in. Whether we like it or not, the country's not ready for a female president. They've shown that time and time again. But if she's thrusted in there, it's going to be even worse. It's one thing if she won outright. If she won outright, I'd be like, all right, cool. But if she just gets pushed in there because the guy that we all knew was headed towards where we more than likely probably think he's going to go, and that makes it worse. And here's the thing, Arpain, you got China watching us.
Oh, everybody's
watching.
Everybody.
Russia's watching us. Everybody's watching us right now, waiting on a moment to say, all right, go get them now.
Let me throw this out at you, though, right? Because if he does win, right, it's no if no more. He's not going to make it 4 years. And you said something bad might happen to him. It's called natural causes. It's called natural causes is going to happen to him. He's not going to make it 4 years under that scrutiny and pressure. She's going to become president. And guess what? Here's my thing. You know what? I'm not a gambling man, but I can almost feel her.
I bet on it.
Wait. I could almost feel her putting a rainbow guy as vice president.
Oh, for sure. I don't know. What's the guy's name?
Pete Buttigieg or somebody like that.
I would say this.
Buttigieg,
Hey, I would say this, fellas. This is the part. People don't know this, but I check the odds on this stuff.
Okay.
So the odds is that Michelle would be placed, or Kamala, or Gavin. Those are the three top bets as the people that would be placed as president. Just fill in for him if they switch him out, right? So what I'm looking at is this. I'm looking at this like I don't know if you've seen this, Trey or Arpain. There's a TV show on Netflix. I think it's called Designated Survivor. And Kiefer Sutherland is in it.
Yes.
And that's what this looks like, bro. This looks like a simulation of that. Like, okay, he falls out and then they just throw her in there. But they don't have the confidence in her because if they did, she would have already replaced him.
All right.
So KP, that's why, remember we had that Speaker of the House vote that went like 20 some odd times. That's why it was so important. People didn't realize that. I'm like, you guys don't see the writing on the wall. This Speaker of the House, because after the vice president, who's next in line?
That's right.
Speaker of the House is next in line to be president.
So
that's why that vote was so important, because there's a high possibility that could be your next president as well.
Hey, listen, before you guys go on, let me just play this last clip, the Stephen A. clip. Let's play the second part, BMU. And let's play the second part because the lady says something that I want to talk about when she says it. If you can get there, let me see if he's back there. I know it might take some time. So hit the second one. Because she says a couple of things that I think you guys we want to chop up.
He said 2 more minutes.
Okay, all right. So it's bad all the way around. So I just think that anybody has anything else to say on this?
Arpain, what do you think the odds are that? Because I have a funny feeling that Obama never left office. I have a feeling that he's been pulling the strings the entire time.
Let me show y'all my avatar real quick. Y'all gonna die laughing. Hold
on. All right. It won't show. You automatically drop down when you do that. There's some other people in there. You automatically he doesn't let when you go off camera, you drop down.
That's cool. I thought you could see it. That's cool. Don't worry about it. But
so let me put it you this way. Do you think Michelle Obama would have a better chance of winning if they swapped her in than Kamala Harris?
At this point in time, probably. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna tell you why.
Why do you think that? Why do you think so?
Trey, I seen the betting odds. That's why I'm telling you. I just seen the odds on this, man. I put money on the odds.
She win a debate though, that's for sure.
She don't got a debate right now.
That's right.
They have all this stuff. She don't got a debate right now. Her husband was a great debater. So come on, bro. Let's just be honest, bro. Debating a black woman, bro, is like a headache you don't want. I'm just saying.
Okay.
And like, bro,
it's true.
Bro, if we think the sisterhood comes out for the internet, woo-wee, boy, you think you ain't seen nothing, man.
I hope that she doesn't. I don't think she's prepared to be the president.
She might not.
I don't know. We don't know anything about her policies. We don't know anything about her agenda. I would imagine that it would be something similar to Obama's, her husband. But do you understand what we would be saying? We would be saying that we would potentially have a husband and wife that have both been president.
Yes.
That's unheard of.
Yeah.
First time in history.
It's first time for everything. First time for everything. You know, so I just tell you, I think it would be an interesting thing because I think she'd do better than people give her credit for. Okay, grown man talking, $10. Shout out to the BMU family. Hey, thanks for the super chat. I'm sure BMU and the rest of us will appreciate that. Yeah. You know, so I don't know if there's any more super chats back there, but that's the one. Okay. No, that's cool.
I didn't see any, but it's interesting though. It's an interesting time, man. It's just a shame to me that they would run that guy out there and just expect to lie to us the next day as if we didn't see that. Like, that's just dumbfounding to me. Like, and I'm not a big like, yeah, I'm voting for Trump type of deal. But they almost make you just like, man, y'all act like I didn't see that.
Would you gonna believe me or you gonna believe your lying eyes, Kate?
Don't believe your eyes no more, Trey. Cut your eyes off. They don't work.
Yeah, I hear you. It's just one of those unfortunate situations. I think it's going to make for an interesting. I mean, when is their conventions? Isn't it like next month or the end of this month or something like that?
I think it's next month.
Yeah, so that should be. I just think that he's not going to make it, man. Okay. Whenever you're ready, BMU. We can do it.
Listen to the world and others. You said, I don't want to hear that. She is next in line. If Biden is not going to be there, it is her. This is what history has shown. The vice president for the serving under the administration of the incumbent. That is the next in line. That is Kamala Harris. So as we sit here today, I don't think it's right for you to say, hey, y'all didn't support her before. The fact is, that was 4 years ago. A lot has happened in 4 years. Look at Joe Biden 4 years ago and look at him now. There is slippage, Ariva. There's nothing wrong with somebody saying Kamala Harris, she's smart, she's bright, she's accomplished, she's been in the administration. We can support her.
You should support her. I support her. I'm her biggest fan. I'm her sister. I've been knowing her since college. I want her to be the president of the United States. But the point you're missing is you can't just skip over the existing president. Kamala Harris was the first one out on Thursday night saying support this administration. You can't change this 4 months before a national election. You want to blow up a party? You want to hand Donald Trump this election? Try to switch Joe Biden at the top of this ticket. For anybody, you think all these Democrats, 4,000 delegates that Joe Biden has won, are going to unanimously say, let's select Kamala Harris? Let's be real. Kamala Harris is a black woman. Gavin Newsom is a white man. He's the governor of my state. He was out talking on Thursday. I thought what he said was brilliant. But you've got to get 4,000 delegates to come to Chicago in August and all agree that someone other than Joe Biden should be the candidate, then go out and sell that to 80 million, 100 million Democrats. How are you going to do that? Where's the money coming from?
I'll tell you how, Ariva. You know how you can easily sell it? By pointing out all the things that you've already pointed out about the alternative. If Donald Trump, this is Donald Trump we're talking about. 4 indictments, 91 counts, already a civil conviction for over $450 million, 34 felony counts exacted against him. And by the way, no one's on the left is switching to the right if Joe Biden is replaced, if Joe Biden steps away. But before I ask you this question, I want to play some sound for you because I had Chris Cuomo on News Nation. Chris Cuomo from News Nation came on this show Friday, and I want you to listen to my question to him and then his answer, which was it was directly aimed at you. I knew I was going to come for you to talk to you, and I asked him this question, Ariva, just for you. Listen to the question and the answer.
Speaking to a couple of other political analysts off the record, here's what I had one tell me. You can't change the candidate when the election is 5 months away. It would be suicidal and tear the Democratic Party apart. Do you agree with that at all?
No. You know, that's the problem with pundits, right? You're always in a 50-50 position. You're going to say something. If you're wrong, you just move to the next. And if you're right, you tell everybody about it. There are no rules, Stephen A. There's so much money out there, and there's so much media saturation. You know, that answer is informed by an understanding that, like, it takes you a long time to get known in America.
Right.
We both know that's not true.
That's not true.
We have instant celebrities made every week on TikTok.
There you go, Ariva Martin. To that, you say what?
Keep smoking that cigar and whatever else he got in that cigar, because what he's talking is yakety yak. You cannot change the top of the party in 5 months, my brother Chris. I love you. I have a lot of respect for you, but you are dead wrong. And this notion that there's all that money. First of all, Stephen, who are we agreeing? There's a long list of Democrats: Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, Gretchen Whitmer. The list goes on and on and on. You've named 4 or 5 people. Where is their consensus? You've got to build consensus, and there is not consensus right now. If you pick a white man over Kamala Harris, black women, I can tell you this: we're gonna walk away. We're gonna blow the party up. If you pick the black woman,
where you gonna walk away to, Ariva? Where you gonna walk away to? You gonna walk away? You ain't gonna walk away to Trump?
Somebody over Kamala Harris. So where are we getting agreement from on who this ideal Democratic candidate should be? Tell me that. Nobody's told me who it should be. And then tell me how you're going to get the 4,000 delegates, which I am one of them. I'm a delegate coming from California. So who's going to step out? One, tell Joe Biden you got to step aside, because everybody's not being mature about this process. Joe Biden is not just the president. There's a whole team of people. There's an administration. So if Joe Biden, when he gets reelected, which my prediction is that he will, he brings with him Kamala Harris, the most diverse administration in the history of this country. Y'all need to just stay the course. We got more black judges appointed under Joe Biden than anyone, even President Barack Obama.
That is not.
Okay. See, this whole thing about whether the people are qualified, we're putting people in just because of the color of their skin, man, that's just got to stop, man. You know, I mean, it's not going to stop, but I mean, there's no real Big Benny. I mean, how good are these people? Not just because they're black. When white people did it, we found out that shit was messed up too. Right? You know, so I mean, go ahead.
Arpain, can I just want to make a quick distinction. Trump, 34 indictments, convicted felon, right? I mean, it's called a spade, right? Convicted felon, civil, as Stephen A. spoke about, $450 million civil lawsuit that he lost, and yet you don't hear anybody on the Republican side saying we got to get him up out of here.
No.
Now one has come out publicly and said Trump got to be replaced.
Right, not because
if anybody could replace, it would be the Republican Party, considering that we already have a Democratic president.
Right.
Why is that? Let's really break that down. This man is a convicted. All the bad shit you can say about Trump, and not one person on the right is saying we got to get him up out of here and get somebody else in there. However, Sleepy Joe got his own people saying we need to replace him, because they see what me and KP see. Their eyes work just like our eyes work, and it's been shown he's not fit to do this job. We can see it; it's right in front of us.
So I
find that quite interesting, Arpain.
Let me add one thing to you just said. Not only are they not calling for Trump to step down, the National Republican Party changed their policy on abortions that agree with him now, that they should leave it up to the states. They put out, instead of having these draconian state by state red laws, they said, okay, you know what? We're going to back off of that, and we're going to agree with President Trump's positions. That shit just came out today. So they're not only not telling him to leave, they're starting to follow him as if he's the leader of the party.
And go where? Where y'all going?
Right.
25 million again. Where y'all going?
Yeah, they're not going anywhere. And
they ain't going nowhere. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
When did they start trying to shame black people to care about felonies? When? When did that start? Okay.
I don't know.
I'm supposed to care about felonies now because the quote unquote president has one, but the guy that signed the crime bill that locked everybody up, that gave them felonies, I ain't supposed to look at that.
Scott Church, hey Scott, sorry man. Scott Church had a question for you. I don't see it. What's this question at BMU?
That's a great point, okay. KP.
Okay, here it is.
Yeah, it's funny to me, man.
All right, there, Trey, he got a question for you right there.
If Michelle finds her way in office, put your head in between your legs and kiss your ass, and America goodbye. Yeah, I mean, look, I know that's probably more hyperbole than anything, but at the end of the day, I don't see how we get better with the Democratic president. I do, however, see how we can somehow marginally get better with a Republican president, right? And there's a few things that Trump is going to address. The immigration issue that we're having right now.
Absolutely.
All the aid that we've been sending to Ukraine as they continue to lose this war. You have to repair relations with Russia. You got to repair relations with Russia. We don't want to go to war. I don't care what anybody says. Ain't nobody trying to go to war. Nobody wants to go to war. Okay? There's a lot of things that need to be done here. Now, listen, I think we can all agree Trump is not, he is not the perfect candidate. But we can go all the way back to 1996. Clinton wasn't the perfect candidate either.
No.
There is, in my opinion, no such thing as a perfect candidate.
No.
Right?
No.
But I just, again, to the point I made earlier, I find it quite interesting that with all the bullshit that Trump has done, they are not talking about getting rid of him.
No.
And so why would I not want to be on the side of a party that at least seems to have some cohesion and togetherness versus the current Democratic Party? They fight in the House.
Facts, Trey. Trey, it's like they watched the debate like we did, and then after they seen it live, they were upset. But then the next day, they said, we got to circle the wagons. We got to get this new narrative out there that he ain't stepping down. So he like, hold on, I'm going all out. This is like watching Ali fight Larry Holmes, bro. He's done.
Yeah,
he's done, bro.
That's
done.
Why you bring that fight up, man? That was so sad,
Tyson
man.
jumping in the ring with Lennox Lewis. Tyson was done, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to watch you, bro. This is watching Rocky in the corner where the trainer's like throwing the damn towel and they just won't throw it in.
Throw it in the towel. That's funny, man. Hey, you know what? I got one for you. It was like Sugar Ray when he fought Terry Norris when he was done. Terry Norris beat him. I've never seen Sugar Ray take a beating like that in my whole life, man. And then he was done after that.
And let me tell you how selfish Joe Biden is, and how much he lacks self-awareness. He lacks so much self-awareness that he can't say, "Hey, look, I love this country, and I've done everything I possibly could to make this country go forward. However, I'm not in the position to do that anymore. For whatever reason, my body broke. I don't care. You can write it up and make it sound really nice.
That's right.
But he's so selfish that he's going to do this, even though it could be at the detriment of the country,
the whole party.
because he doesn't want to. And what about your party? Your party is in trouble now.
Right. Well, let me ask you this, and too bad KP dropped down. Listen, this bullshit that they keep talking about, the Republic is going if Trump becomes president. Do you buy any of that scare tactic shit?
Say that one more time.
Yeah. Do you buy this whole notion that if Trump became president, that the whole Republic will fall apart?
No, because it didn't fall apart the first
democracy.
time.
Yeah,
it's bullshit. You know, that's what I'm saying. When I hear people say this, I'm like, but that didn't happen.
Right. He already
had 4 years, and it didn't fall apart.
Yeah.
So what would lead me to believe that it would fall apart again? I'm not saying that if Biden gets reelected, that the country's going to hell. I'm not what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm saying that I think that the possibility of him being fit cognitively to do another 4 years, I'm not too sure about that. And I think that hurts the country more than it helps in the long run.
I'm sure the answer is no. He's not going to make it 4 years. I mean, I'm just thinking about the normal pressures the presidency puts on you, even when you're in your best health. You know, even when you're in your best health, man, that's just not even though people are catering you hands and fit, some of the decisions you have to make, even in even around the puppet masters, even keeping that whole herding cat shit in order, it shit can't be an easy job. Even though I think I could probably do better than Biden right now.
and that doctor deserves to be fired. That president, whoever that presidential doctor is,
he's a liar.
He's a liar.
He's a liar. Yeah.
There's no way he's fit. No way.
He's a liar. Oh yeah, but KP had to go. Listen, man, final words, because we got to go get ready for Mayhem Monday on this thing. So, you got any final words? Hey, thanks for coming up, Trey.
Yeah, no problem. Look, at the end of the day, I said before, if you're going to take part in the voting process, you don't have to. It's your right to not vote as well as it is your right to vote. Do what's best for you and your family. Sit down and think and pay attention to the policies that both candidates have if you're going to vote. If you're not going to vote, I can understand that too. A lot of people, listen, I'm not so heavily favored against Trump at the moment either. Anyway, There's just some other reasons why I would vote for him. But I can understand if you chose not to vote for either party. I can understand. But if you are going to vote, actually do the work, listen to these debates, listen to what they're saying, their policies, and make the best decision for you and your family. I think it'll all come out in the wash. For most families, I think Trump is the better candidate. But unfortunately, I think we're going to have to put to bed whether or not Biden is going to be able to do all of this. I know the Democratic Party needs to get this figured out quick, fast, and in a hurry, because what is it? When they start the actual debates, was it September, October? They'll start having the actual debates. Listen,
it's September.
He's September, so he's got to make it to September, and then you're actually going to have. And as far as I'm concerned, I think Trump is going to turn up the heat on him a little bit. I don't think he will be as reserved. Trump is known to break the rules and debates from time to time. I think he's going to turn the heat up on Biden in September.
So
but other than that, do what's best for you and your family.
Well, I do have to get you one more thing, and I think you have said it already. Do you think a woman is ready, have the temperament out of our pool of black women to be president, unless she's a conservative?
I would only vote for Condoleezza Rice. Condoleezza Rice is the only one. I think she's the only one that could potentially. I think I would vote for her. Nobody else that was on that list. Certainly not the Supreme Court Justice lady, and not Fannie, and not any of the other ones, and certainly not Kamala. Anytime a vice president says, "I'm out here in these streets," that was enough for me right there. So no, that would be the only one I would even consider would be Condoleezza Rice. There's experience there. She was under Bush. There's experience there. And anytime that you get voted to help out the NFL, that must mean you know what the hell you're doing. So, yeah, that would be the only one. Outside of that, no. And I just think that the woman in one of the videos said that Biden doesn't represent the country well. Well, I could also make the argument that there are a lot of women in this country that don't represent the country well as well. So if you're going to have somebody represent the country, you need to have someone who truly, truly understands what it means to represent America, even if it's sometimes having to take the L personally. Right. I think the Democratic Party is first thing they're going to have to address is we put Joe in a bad spot. He shouldn't have been there, but now we fixed it. Until they do that, no. But unfortunately, no, I don't think we'll see a woman, and I don't think that the country is ready for it at all. But I'm a good show.
Hey, thanks a lot. Who's in the back there? Somebody said something?
It's Josh. Damn.
Go ahead, man.
I left. I wanted to ask him, what does that mean? Like a representation of the country? What does...
Well, just take it for face value. You got any last words?
No, I kind of, oddly enough, strangely actually agree with Trey, right? Like, so generally speaking, I would never wholeheartedly blanket support the idea of a woman for president.
Okay.
But this is my reasoning is actually based on traditionalism. We've always done things a certain way. Thus, being a traditionalist, you kind of want to continue to do things that specific way, unless there's some reason or unless there's some great reason to justify change. I'm generally opposed to it. But now come back down to like the idea, if there is a nomination, the first comment in YouTube chat, I literally stated, like, I can give examples of there are female Rice specifically. I called out, said if she were to run, I mean, again, depending on who else was running, she'd most likely get my vote. But now, again, my only experience with her is with foreign policy. I mean, I worked for a department that was under her.
Right.
She is hardcore. Like, she's just good at what she did. Very good, actually.
Yeah, we got to give her credit, and no doubt about that. So I think I appreciate you coming up, man. It was nice little dialogue. I thank the people in the chat. Let me tell you, I don't believe that the current crop of females, women who otherwise are aspirational for higher office, have acquitted themselves as well as they could. Right? We should have more candidates who stay squeaky clean. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. It doesn't, and just because men bang out chicks once in a while that's their subordinates don't mean that you should. Doesn't mean that you should use your office like Ekene tried to say for Marilyn Mosby because other people done it, so I can do it too. It's the most idiotic thing I've ever heard. And I know he's gone, so I'll argue with him later.
Well, can I ask what you mean by like modern women? Is this
we're talking about the modern age because traditionalism is gone with the women of today, right? There's no such thing as traditions at all, right? So even if they came from the traditions, they're all free to do and say what they want. And maybe maybe you can't understand it from your prism or your worldview, but from the Black community, our sisters are free agents. They're just all free agents. They don't give a shit about anything but, themselves for the most part. A lot of them do. Not all of them, of course, but when they want to move, they're going to move, and they don't want permission from anybody. So, and that's the way it is. They don't want the covering of men for the most part, and they don't want to. You can't check them. That's one of the things that the First Lady said. You can't tell them anything, right? Not even Black women could tell them anything. So I think they take that into office, and I think that they can do better. And so this the salvo. I put 10 women on a list, and it's not hard to find. Maybe everybody, those names are familiar. Maybe not to you, Josh, but to Black folks, those 10 names are pretty familiar because they're recent. And so the fact is that they all have dirt on their hands, and it shouldn't be that way. Yeah, can I find 10 dirty men? Yeah, but out of thousands, not out of hundreds. You know what I'm saying?
Right, okay.
So when you're trying to break the glass ceiling, somebody's got to be pristine clean. Somebody. So anyway, so that's why I have my reservations. And the other part has nothing to do with their character, it's their position. Abject liberalism is not good for the country. Everything doesn't go. Nobody has unfettered rights, and you can't guarantee people equality of outcomes. You can fight for them to have equality, but not equality of outcomes. So we only deserve, Black people included, life.
Help me here a little bit one more time, right?
So,
what from your view, what's the difference between liberalism and progressivism? Because it sounds like you're describing.
Progressive. To me, they're synonymous, but you could have a person who's progressive but with boundaries. We have unfettered liberalism. That means anything goes. That means no matter what, men could call themselves women, women could call themselves men. They're going to try to make people use people's stupid pronouns and let me tell you, there was a time when people started to try to popularize something they call Ebonics. You ever heard of that?
Yes.
Okay. Even Black people said, no, we're not doing that shit. We're not going to start talking under some Ebonics. So now we got transgender people and all these binary people saying, I want you to call a person who is a he or a she, a they, or a viz or a vow, and all this kind of bullshit, man. Under threat of sanctions if you're a teacher. It's just idiocracy. So and it's not being a phobe. It's not being a phobe either, right? It's common sense. And the truth of the matter is we need to get back to the basics. You're a basic guy. No matter whether you're Black, and we had to learn this as Black people. Nobody owes you shit, right? The point really is that you got the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You're not owed happiness. Nobody is. And the more we get back to that, and one person's rights should not trample on another person's rights. That's when we have the issues. So so go ahead. If you want to say something, I was going to.
I consider rights to be a fiction anyways. They're just things that we make up in our head to make us feel better about shit.
All right. So let's just say the fictional rights that we all are under the goddamn guise that we have. Okay. But you know what I mean? Whether somebody.
I definitely think I understand kind of where you're coming from. That's the difficulty I have. It's just between me understanding you is really about, I don't fully think I grasp the justification for how you're coming to your conclusion. It's not that I disagree. It's I don't understand how you're getting from point A to point B is really what it boils down to.
Well,
but BMU he's throwing us all. So
okay, yeah. So we got Mayhem Monday coming up. So listen, man, let me say thanks to the chat, thanks to Trey, thanks to KP, thanks to you for coming up, Litton's in there, and all the other people back there. Hey, listen, we're gonna end the show. Thanks for coming by. Salute.